To say you gotta know somebody, oh know somebody to give somewhere these days. To say you know that's alright, yeah that's alright, cause you know that's alright with me. Yeah you know that's alright, yeah that's alright, cause you know that's alright.
You still there?
What'd you say? Yeah.
I think we'd want to take a trip down just to feel comfortable with the whole thing, especially since my friend is new on the business.
Well, that's fine, and we got the place you can go stay when you go down there.
Yeah, I know. I said I was going to go down. Last time we talked, I said we were going to go down. I was going to go down about a weekend ago, but I had to run out for some other negotiating conference and some other stuff, so I didn't have time to go. But my summer is still open for that, for a trip just to acclimate. I don't know very much about Florida. My guest does, and so I think it could be a good mix. It depends on how my friend feels. But I'm game for anything. So we can. I'm only a heartbeat away from your office. We can get together and whatever we've got to do.
Well, we got deals on the table right now. As a matter of fact, we've got too many deals right now. So. We need to raise money is what we need, and anybody who can raise money or has their own money we're interested in putting in, or has down money and can get a conventional loan, or doesn't have down money but can get a conventional loan. Anybody that has any asset to help acquire deals, we've got plenty of deals. We need to raise money, and I just raised $500,000 for one beach house and we're raising lots of money, but it's just not enough to acquire everything that we want to buy down there. Hey, how you doing? So I hear the bell ringing a lot. Why don't we go around and everyone announce who's on the call?
We have a serial number for this?
I can. This is Jeremy. Everybody hear me okay?
I can hear you, Jeremy. This is Bruce Feldman.
Hey, Bruce. Yeah, I see. Allison, Angela, Bridget, Ethan. I can see a bunch of people on the call. I'm actually on the control panel on my cell phone.
Great.
So
Is Christina on the call?
Guess not.
Hey guys, Ethan Gilbert. How are you?
Good.
Hello, Ethan.
Too late.
All right, well, I'll tell you guys a little bit about what's been going on in the last couple of weeks. We did acquire on May 1st the beach house that we told you guys all about on Siesta Key. Next door to the house that we bought was a $4.5 million house across the street, $1.1 million house across the street from that, $5 million house. We got this place for $387,000. Needs about $100,000 of work, so we'll be into it for a little under $500,000. We figure it'll be worth about $750,000 as soon as it's finished. Because it's a highly visible beach house right on the main artery of the #1 rated beach in the United States, Siesta Key. The inspectors are watching it closely, so no funny business with this house. Has to be. And it's in obviously because it's right next to the beach. It's in a flood zone. It's in a zone with FEMA regulations, so you got FEMA watching it. So first thing I had to do was hire an architect. Second thing I had to do is get the building appraised and hire a construction company or a general contractor to pull all the permits to get this sucker ready. Today's the 21st. I bought it 21 days ago. We haven't hammered a nail in yet, but we're moving forward. Hope to have this thing ready to start construction in the next week or two. So I'm excited about that. We also have a bunch of other deals down there on the contract, and like I was mentioning earlier, we're kind of a little heavy on the deals right now and a little light on the private money, so we need to raise some private money. So we're in full private money raising mode right now, trying to we put together some great real estate deals. Now we just got to raise the money, and so it's a never-ending cycle Sometimes you have too much money and not enough deals. Sometimes you have too much deals and not enough money. And sometimes it all works perfectly balanced. That's where we're at right now.
The other thing that we did that's big news is we took our real estate office independent. So now actually our real estate agency is called Addicted to Real Estate. So all the agents that that are hanging their license with us are all addicted to real estate. So if anybody out there is an agent and you guys want to get addicted to real estate, we've got a place for you. So we're pretty excited about that. We're rebranding our whole company, and we're trying to kind of make that Addicted to Real Estate brand stand out in the marketplace.
How does that affect the opportunity that we're logged on for?
You're fine.
MLS?
Yeah. Anybody has an unlicensed assistant in our office. So what Bruce is an unlicensed assistant in our office, which gives him access to the MLS. And we have if anybody goes to Addicted to Real Estate to the blog tab, they can see that there's an MLS Access that you can get through our office for $58.97 a month. And thank you, Bruce, for being part of that. And Ethan, thank you for being part of that. And a couple of the others on the line that I saw. But
yeah, I actually got a couple of people to sign up for you. And
well, thank you, Bruce.
And they're very grateful.
Yeah, it's something that investors need. I mean, if I get a call from a seller on a deal, the first thing I'm doing is going to the MLS to find out what they owe on their property, find out when they bought it, how much they bought it for, find out what the taxes are, find out when it last sold, and then I go in and I look for comparable sales to see what the thing's worth. I don't know if you're a real estate investor how you can get away with not having that. So,
but it doesn't tell you what kind of shrubs are on it.
It doesn't. Well, you can Google Maps. You can figure that out. So
well, listen,
if any of you,
I just got a notification that my friend out in Arizona who's considering coming here this way is on. So anything you might want to repeat regarding the conversation that the three of us just had for Florida would be beneficial. Actually.
Hi, that's not necessary. That's okay.
Okay.
This is Christina.
She didn't hear any of the stuff for Florida.
Well, hang around with us. I tend to repeat myself every 8 hours.
Depends.
Was that a 928 area code?
I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, it could be me. Hi.
Hi.
This is Christine in Arizona.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. Hi, Christine.
Not necessary to repeat. It's quite all right. I can certainly get it from Bruce later. Thank you.
So we're getting a little bit of noise on the line. I mean, I can turn this over to Q&A mode if you want, Phil. If you have, or you want to, where people can raise their hands and press a button.
How do you raise your hand?
I think it's *3. Let me.
It's not on your site for how to work this thing.
How to raise your hand? No, I'll tell you how to do it. Hold on a second.
Maybe I should turn off my hairdryer.
*6. That's how you do it. Okay.
*6.
All right. So if anybody has a question for us, we had asked. I put an email out asking anybody if they have a general question or if they have a deal that they'd like to talk about, they need some help with. *6 will put you into the queue for Q&A, and we can answer your question individually. This way, there's just one person talking at a time. We can, cut out some of the background noise of people. I'm actually watching my son play baseball from the car as I'm dialing in on this thing. So.
Okay, so who's going to step up first and ask a question? Otherwise, if you don't ask a question, then I'm just going to keep talking. You're going to have to get your pillow out, because I'll just keep running at the mouth about real estate.
Bruce hit *6 now just to test it. There you go. How do we do that? Next question. All right, I'm just trying this on my cell phone. It's the first time I've done it on my cell phone. So you're mic live, Bruce?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Okay, great. Yeah.
Okay. What I'm really interested in right now is the Florida stuff. Why do you think that's really advantageous for us?
Well, I'm really interested in the Florida stuff as well. And the reason is because I'm a buy and hold investor primarily. And you can do wholesale deals and you can do flips in this business, but the real money that you're going to make the real, seven-figure paydays that you're going to make in your life come from buying properties in depressed areas that have massive upside potential, sitting on them for a significant period of time, and then enjoying the rewards from your intelligent decisions. Because we're on the East Coast in the Philadelphia area, a lot of people in this area retire and have second homes in Florida. And so Florida was, a key area for me. I've pinpointed it for years that I wanted to be down there, but I just hadn't made up my mind what particular town in Florida I was going to invest in. Then in February of 2012, I went down there on a fact-finding mission. I had been to the East Coast about 15 different times and wanted to do a tour of the West Coast. And the top 3 worst hit towns in Florida were also on the top 10 list of the United States of the worst real estate markets in the United States, and that was Cape Coral, Miami, and Sarasota. Miami didn't really fit my lifestyle at this point. If I was in my 20s, I probably would have wanted to hang out in Miami, but at 47, I felt more inclined to be in a place that was more family-oriented and maybe people my own age. And Cape Coral is, down in the Naples area. It's a beautiful area, but it just a lot of, different demographics from people my age. So I kind of determined after going up and down the West Coast that Sarasota was the best place for me. And Siesta Key, we wanted to do vacation rentals. So you got to have attraction. You got to have a niche that's going to get people to come to your area for vacation. And having the #1 rated beach in the United States, right there, that's obviously an amazing attraction to have. So Siesta Key Beach, Siesta Key area, Sarasota was a perfect match for our needs and what we think for most investors' needs. So we started doing a lot of work looking for real estate deals down there. And there's no question about it that we found some amazing deals. The beach house that we just bought, I don't know if you saw the video that I released recently on my TV show called The Best Wholesale Deal Ever. But I bought this house for $387,000. 2 days before I bought it, we were offered $200,000 more than we paid for it. And we turned them down. We said no, because we think there's this massive upside potential. Like if I sold the house for the $200,000, that would have been nice, but I wouldn't have the house. I'd have $200,000, but I wouldn't have the house. But we figure we can keep the house, fix it up, and still have $200,000 in equity, and we can sell it for any time we want. So we decided to keep it, and we rejected that offer. So, you got to have a niche in this business. You can do buy and hold rentals with annual tenants. I've done that many, many times. But if you have a niche, something that allows you to charge a premium rent, like student rentals, like executive suite centers, like vacation rentals, where in 1 month I can rent my vacation rental house for $3,000 a month. That same house as an annual rental would get about $750 a month. So, that's the niche. And so you got a depressed market, you got a niche where you can make premium rents, you got amazing deals down there. We plan on buying as many millions of dollars worth of real estate down there as we can acquire, sit on those properties, and 10 years from now, reap the rewards of many millions of dollars in equity that's been accrued. So that's what we're thinking down there. What do you think about that plan, Mike?
This is Bruce. Yeah, I agree. We talked about that before. Am I still on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Mike asked the question.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
Okay.
No, that was Bruce.
Yeah,
okay.
we talked about that before, and I promised to come over to your office and discuss it in depth, but I'm very sorry. I've been kind of busy, and I got a lot of personal problems at home. But I'll make time. If you guys are going to be around next week, I'll definitely come around and visit with you. I think I have a couple other avenues, and I think we can put together some deals, and we'll find some money and do some stuff. I also
so
like the idea, the fact that you rent it for the season, and then you can use it for yourself in the summertime, which is out of season.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I had a private investor that I spoke with today, and we offered him an interest rate to put up money for one of our deals down there, and he said he wasn't really interested at the time. But then we had a private investor came through that took an equity position that wanted to be an equity partner with us on it, and he says, "Well, I didn't know you were offering a piece of the equity." I'm like, "Well, that was his counteroffer. You didn't think to counteroffer that." So the guy counteroffered for an equity piece, and we gave it to him. And then my other friend said, "Oh, I didn't know you were going to do that. Let me talk to you about some of these deals tomorrow." And he says, "I'm going to have to kick some tires and go down there." I said, "No problem. It's off peak. We got a place to stay. No problem."
Yeah.
So
here's an interesting side note about what we're doing down there. We rented our house in February to a TV organization in New York City that is the production company for the Breaking Amish TV show. And I don't know if anybody here has watched that show. It's a reality show about a bunch of 20-something-year-old Amish people who break away from that lifestyle. And in this season, they go to Sarasota, and they are going to be staying in our house. Now, there's like 7 of them total who are down there, so they're staying in multiple houses. But our house is the film site for one of the group of people that's going to be in one of the houses. So you can watch it Sunday night at 10 p.m. on Eastern Time. It's on the Learning Channel, TLC, which if you have Verizon, that's like channel 139. And you can see a little bit about Siesta Key Beach, and you can actually see the inside of one of the duplexes that we bought.
Is that one of the 14 units you had in a row, or just this is a duplex?
no, this is the first one that we bought, and this
Okay.
was back at the end of last year, I guess it was. So.
Yeah, well, we bought it like in August of last year.
So if anybody wants to get in the queue for Q&A questions, *6 is the code. *6 will get you in so you can ask a question on the line here.
And what time will that be on again? On Sunday?
10 o'clock on Sunday night on the Learning Channel, TLC.
Got it.
It's called Breaking Amish.
Are you guys going to get any credits on this? Are they going to any way you can benefit from marketing on it?
I think from publicity, PR, I think we'd like to see what kind of activities they did while they were at our house before we promote their attendance. So no, I think any publicity is good publicity, as they say. So
I don't know about that.
Well, we know for a fact that they broke a bunch of things in the house, and they made a bunch of marks on the wall, and they rearranged our artwork and a bunch of other stuff. But look, we were paid handsomely for them to use the house. So
they have to. When the production crew is in there, they have to have it the way the producer wants it. You don't have a choice. I used to rent places out in the West Coast where we did some shorts and stuff like that, but we were required by contract to put the house back in exactly the same condition as we found it. So we would rent it, go around the clock for 2 or 3 days, then have another crew come in and put the place back exactly as to fit the pictures before we went in. We took pictures before we went in. So it's very commonplace. They'll probably fix all that up for you.
yeah, well, we'll see. So we got Angela's chiming in. Angela's got a question here. I think it's Angela. Let me go on. Thanks, Bruce. Let me everybody, if you want to get a question answered, just hit *6 and let's go to the next one. Hello.
Can you hear me? It's Angie.
Hi, Angie.
Hi. I am actually a fan of the Breaking Amish show. Is it a good or bad thing that, because they say that Sarasota is a huge Amish area now, so bad thing?
It always has been. I mean, I think we didn't really know it. Phil found a place called Yoder's, which is an excellent little breakfast restaurant, and we saw there's like a little village. When the farming and the crops are down in the wintertime, a lot of Amish take a mecca, for lack of a better term, to Sarasota. And it was interesting to see that. You see these little Amish scooters, and I was just out in Lancaster a weekend ago, and I was seeing kind of some riding the same scooters that I saw first down in Sarasota.
Oh wow. Okay. So it's not a bad thing, like as far as property value.
I don't think so.
I can tell you this: when I'm in the Amish neighborhood, I feel very safe.
Right.
And,
that's one good thing.
There's less hit and run. The hit and run accidents happen a little slower.
Yeah. It was a little bit of a surprise to me because the first 5 or 6 times I was in Sarasota, I never saw any Amish people. And then I went down there in between the week of Christmas and New Year's, and they were everywhere. And I thought, what the hell's going on here? This is bizarre. But by that point, I had already rented my house to the Breaking Amish show, so I sort of knew that Amish people were down there. They happen to live in what is like a large trailer park area, and it's actually pretty close. It's within a mile of the first house that we bought. So it's actually pretty nice. You got a lot of fresh produce markets and amazing restaurants. There's a restaurant down there. I actually wrote a blog about it on our website, gosiesta.com, because the breakfast was so amazing. Grilled oatmeal, which is something I've never seen, and raspberry-filled French toast, some really unique dishes that the Amish created this restaurant called Yoder's. It's the #1 restaurant place by Sarasota Magazine, so pretty cool.
Okay, thank you.
We just had somebody join the line that's Skyping in. I wonder if they're Skyping in from another country or what. Who just joined the line from Skype?
Yes, hi. I'm Don Dietz.
Hi, Don. Where are you calling us from?
Southern Chester County in Pennsylvania.
Okay. I was wasn't as exotic as I was hoping, but Chester County's fine. I thought it'd be somebody from Europe or something Skyping in. So.
Yeah, it's still a drive to get there.
Any real estate questions for us, Don?
Well, I have tons of questions. I'm still trying to figure out, how to get started, how to find a good deal, and then how to find the funding.
What was the last part?
How to get funding.
Okay. Those are 3 very broad questions there, but you haven't done any deals yet yourself?
No, I haven't.
I'll tell you how I did my first deal, and maybe Phil can talk a little bit about what he does. But my first deal was done driving for dollars, and what I mean by that is we would go up and down streets looking for. If it's in the wintertime, you're looking for places that haven't had their driveway shoveled. If you're in the summertime, right now this is a great time of year to look for places that have high grass, and you can really find some vacant, abandoned places. And what we do is talk to the neighbors, track down the owners, and drive up and down the neighborhoods we want to buy. That's how I bought my first house. It had an orange sticker on it, unfit for human habitation, and that was my sign. That was my for sale sign. That's what I saw. I've in about a dozen years I've been doing this business. The first 10 years, I never bought a house that was for sale. I always prompted people to, ask them if they'd be interested in selling their house, and they got back to me and said yes. So there's deals in the MLS now. There's certainly deals that we could help you with that we could find off the MLS, but the best deals that I've ever made were deals that were off the market because you're operating in a vacuum. There's they don't know, you're the only one in that territory. So that's how I would start.
Well, that's a really, really good tip.
Yeah, and I'd say that you shouldn't make it your goal to do a real estate deal. You should make it your goal to do something very important, and that's learn. Just learn. And everybody learns at different speeds. You might learn everything you need to know to get started in 3 months. It might take you a year, but it depends on who you are. But learn, and the easiest way to learn is to read books that you can pick up. Like my book's $20. There's lots of other good real estate books you can buy for $20. Read the books, I also have a free web TV show. If you go to my website, addictedtorealestate.com, put your name and email address in, you can get my free TV show, which, gives you tips and tricks about how to be a real estate investor. And all that's free. And just, there's a bunch of old episodes there that go back for years on the blog tab. And you can just watch those shows and you'll learn all kinds of things. And when you're ready, you'll know it.
The other thing that's important too is that you don't, once you, we often say like, look, you don't really find deals out there in the marketplace. You find opportunities, and you need to turn them into deals. So in order to turn them into deals, you need to know how to skin the cat, and there's a lot of ways to skin a cat. So we buy everything from seller financing to straight up cash using private money for funding to doing some taking over some mortgage takeovers where we're taking over somebody else's mortgage payments. So we do the mortgage takeovers, subject to, some people call it, and so you almost need to have all those tools. And before I found my first deal that I drove up and down looking for that orange sticker, I actually did spend exactly what Phil said. I gave myself 6 months to study. Because a lot of people go to the seminars and they keep going to the seminars and keep going to the seminars and never take action. So don't put yourself in that category. Take a period of time. In my case, I took 6 months. I did all the learning that I could in 6 months, and then I said, whatever I know in 6 months is going to have to be enough. Because at that point, I'm going to take action.
Well, I know you can't always sit on the sidelines and never take action, but I don't want to jump into a bad deal totally blind either. So I am reading Phil's book right now.
Well, we're here for support too. I mean, that's the purpose of this call. If somebody has a deal on the table, even if you have a deal on the table right now you want to talk about, that's what this line's for. So anybody out there have a deal they want to talk about, hit *6 on the phone, and *6 will get you in the queue. I know we were talking to Angela a little bit about the Amish. Angela, you still with us?
Yep, I'm still here.
Did you have any other questions regarding?
No, I'm pretty new to this. I invest in notes, so I'm just kind of listening in on this.
Got it. And it was Angie. I called you Angela. Okay.
Oh, that's okay.
All right. Somebody hit *6 now, and we can, if you have a general question or if you have just a topic you want us to shed some light on, we can do that as well. We between Phil and I wouldn't say we have all pieces of this business covered, but we have pretty close to most of them covered. Let me see. *6.
Well, in the meantime...
Who's this on the line?
This is Justin.
Hey, Justin.
I was just wondering lease option strategies. I just kind of wanted to get into that. Are you gentlemen familiar with that strategy at all?
On the buying side or on the selling side? I mean, I've done lease options
buying
on the selling
and selling
side
on both sides.
The sandwich.
Like sandwich lease optioning and all that. Because I never done it, and I'm actually looking into it right now. And I just kind of want to know what's the best strategy or the best way to do that, or how can I find motivated seller to convince to do something like this,
Well, I think if you're doing lease options, I would say the reason you do lease option is because the seller's not motivated. Like if for somebody to be a motivated seller is going to give me their deed. I'm going to say, look, just sign me over your house. And a motivated seller will say, okay, anything, please. Stop the bleeding. A non-motivated seller is saying, nah, I'm not going to sell over my house. And you say, all right, well, maybe what if I were to just rent it from you and take care of all the repairs and the maintenance and all that stuff, and I'll sublease it. So that's a lease option is a strategy when you can't get the deed. But my first choice is to get the deed is right away, and then so I buy the house, I get the deed up front, and then if I sell on a lease to own, I'm holding on to the deed as long as I can. Now there might be reasons that you don't want to be on the deed, but a truly motivated seller will just say, here, take my house, take over my payments, just get me out.
You say it's a good idea if you found a deed, and then option the lease it to someone that wants to buy it, like rent to own.
I love that strategy.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I love that strategy. Because you get in real light. You get in with, you're down. You basically, a lot of times we'll take over somebody's house that's behind on their mortgage payments. So let's say we make up like 2 or 3 payments or something, take over their mortgage, put a tiny bit of money into repairing the house, paint, carpets, whatever, or we can do a rent to own with sweat equity, where we don't even the sweat equity deal. We don't even have we don't have to do any repairs. We make the next person do the repairs. We just did that on a deal in Mayfair section not too long ago, and through some other reasons that deal fell south. The guy got incarcerated, the lease option guy, but we didn't see that coming. But we can do it all over again. We can do another rent to own on it. And with the rent to own situation, you're kind of, again, you're operating in a vacuum. Not a lot of people offer their houses as how much down, how much per month. Your credit is not the concerning factor. So I like that, get the deed, buy it subject to the mortgage, and then sell it on a lease to own or rent to own. I like saying lease to own. I think it sounds a little better. Rent to own, I guess people probably know that more commonly. Same thing.
Great, thank you.
No problem.
I mean, just to add to it, I would say that buying using those options are something we do from time to time, but in this market, there's an abundance of deals that can be had, and you can get the deed on those deals. So I don't think it should be your number one strategy right now. It's nice to know it. It's nice to have that toolbox, that tool in your toolbox, but I think there are better ways to acquire houses without using any of your own money.
What if you got a house, seller finances, everything, zero down, you get the deed, and then you can rent to own?
Yeah, that's fine.
I like that much better.
Now, here's the caution I would say with that. If you have really sweetheart financing on a property, you might not want to do a rent to own, or you might want to substitute. You want to have a provision. If you're getting seller financing at 0% interest, which is the prevailing rate for all of our seller financing. All the seller financing deals that Phil and I do, 0% is the prevailing interest rate. So if you get a sweetheart interest rate like that, the last thing I want to do is sell that property. I want to hang on to that financing forever, or I want to negotiate with the seller that they'll walk that financing to another property. They'll move that loan over to some other property. And we have paperwork that we offer the people that are in our group on how to do that. So we have the whole buyer's briefcase. If you're not familiar with the buyer's briefcase, we're just getting it up on the website, things like that now. It's a package that has all the paperwork that you need to close deals like this.
All right, great.
So any hit *6 if you guys want to be next. But I see Don's back up with a question. Or any other questions from you while you're on the line?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Maybe I didn't hear the answer while I was putting myself in the queue with all the touch tones.
Okay.
But I heard Jeremy say, that there's a particular method that would be most beneficial to use in this type of market, and I wanted to ask what that method would be.
Yeah, it was Phil saying that, I think, about what types of deals.
Well, what I'm saying is that you want to use methods where you actually own the house. You get the deed, okay? So we like strategies where we use none of our own money to buy houses. So one way is we put together real estate deals where we straight up buy the house using private investors' money. And we pay that private investor a rate of return on their money, and we give them a first position note and mortgage secured against the property we're buying, but we own the house. Another way that we buy houses is we take over existing mortgage payments. And in the event that we took over an existing mortgage payment, we would also own the house. We get the deed, but the existing mortgage remains on the house, and we just make payments on it. So that's a great way to buy houses with none of your own money. But in all of these scenarios, we're getting the deed. The lease options are, sometimes you get the deed, sometimes you don't. So I'm merely suggesting that there's enough deals out there today that you can get the deed. And I tend to try to focus on those kind of deals. I want to control the property. That's
control is the key term, like Phil just said. I mean, getting the deed is, but getting the deed gives you the control. If you have a lease with an option to buy a property, or let's say you have a first right of refusal recorded against a property, or you have just a straight-out option recorded against the property, all those are well and good, except for what happens if the person doesn't sell it to you. Now you got to go take them to court or do something. So if you have the deed, you don't have to worry about that. So that's why I think having control is important, and that's what the deed gives you.
Absolutely, I would agree with that.
Well, thank you. We always. I mean, I can't. I've taken options, but I don't think I've done a single lease with an option. There might have been one or two that I've done that are very short term. Like I leased the property, but I was going to buy it within the same. I don't know. I know I haven't. I know I've done quite a bit on the selling side with a rent to own situation, and those work out really well because while all the realtors are looking for. They're looking for the A credit buyer. We're looking for a B or C credit buyer that looks like they're going to get their act together pretty soon. And the benefit for any of you that as far as I'm going to put my tax geek hat on. But from a tax perspective, if you buy a property for rental investment, you rent it out for a year. You own it for a year. You actually just have to own it for a year for rental purposes. You rent the property out, they buy it, you're now in long-term capital gains, which is only 15% right now, versus short-term capital gains for all you flippers out there, you're paying a heck of a lot more. You're paying ordinary income. Short-term capital gains is the equivalent of ordinary income. So it's subject to FUTA, FICA tax, you're paying Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, that kind of stuff, all comes out of those deals, whereas I don't have to pay that if I'm selling on long-term capital gains. So that's a little strategy to save taxes, is to hang on to a property and then turn around and sell it, after 1 year. So let's say we have a property and it took us 3 months to rehab the property, and I got a rent-to-own tenant going in there. I'm going to give that rent-to-own tenant the first right to buy my property 9 months after I've purchased, 9 months after they start, because I've already owned it for 3. So their first option to buy the property is going to start in 9 months, and that gets me to that long-term capital gains period. So, yeah, is that clear to everybody? Any questions on that?
You just have to go over 13 months, right?
Yeah, it's 1 year. It's a year or more. Yeah, a year or more. So, if you buy a property to flip, and it doesn't flip, and it takes you 9 months to sell it, and the sale falls through, and then it takes you another 3 months to get another contract, and then finally you close on it 13 months later, that's not long-term capital gains. That was a flip property that didn't flip. You have to actually put the property in use for rental investment in order for it to be, you have to make the property available for rental investment, and the way you would prove that to the IRS is you'd have for rent signs on the property. You had ads that say for rent. You wouldn't put it on the market for sale right away. And that's what would constitute the property being a long-term investment, a real estate investment, versus a fix and flip, which is not real estate investing. That's just inventory. That's dealer stuff. It's like no different than it's good business. It's no different than a used car guy that buys cars cheap and turns around and resells them. They pay higher taxes. So hit *6, anyone, if you want to chime in and ask a question about what we just talked about there, or if you have another question for us. I see Bruce is chiming in again. You there, Bruce?
Hi, can you hear me all right? I'm on speakerphone.
Yep.
Okay, my question is, I have 2, maybe 3 people interested to come to your Saturday seminars if you're going to be doing that program anymore. I know you guys are very busy, and we had to abort the last one. But I was just wondering, because I'm going to see them tomorrow night at a meeting, and one of them actually has a lot of money. So that's my question. Are you going to be having any more Saturday seminars, monthly or bi-monthly? And if so, when? How can we find out?
Well, the meetup is the way you find out. I spoke in front of the Temple area property, I forget what the club was, TAPA, like the Temple Landlords Association, and I did a talk on technology and real estate, and I got about a dozen people that were interested in coming to a technology workshop about, what technology I use in the real estate business, and there's about a dozen people in there, so I was thinking about doing something like that, maybe late summer, one Saturday.
Okay, well, I'm in for that if you do, and I have some other people to be interested. I'll just put them on your site.
Phil, is there any other ones that you think that we want to put on in upcoming? I mean, we got a lot on our plate right now, is right. But.
Well, we definitely have some meetings coming up. They're not Saturday meetings, but we got meetings coming up. I think we got a meeting on the June 3rd. No, June 3rd. We have a meeting in Philadelphia at the Franklin Mills Mall on June 3rd. We're going to have another coaching call in June. So we've got some meetings coming up. That's the next meeting coming up. So why does it have to be a Saturday, Bruce? You can bring these people to the June meeting.
Okay. Well, the thing I was getting at for the Saturday programs you guys had were 6 hours of in-depth discussion. That's what the people liked. There's no upsell. It's just a discussion on specific topics that they need. So it's not like 1 hour.
Is the fact that there's no upsell, is that a criticism?
That's not a criticism. But people are tired of going to like Dig and some other programs where they have good information, but they're being hit hard to buy stuff. And they don't, But your Saturday program, you've got 6 hours of in-depth information that everybody in your audience really keys on that. I have only heard very, very positive feedback on that.
We definitely get people to come out and stay out, and they don't leave. I stay late till I outnumber the audience, and the Saturday workshops, I seem to be there pretty late. So I'm always stick around for questions and stuff. And it's as far as like we've been teaching real estate and doing it ourselves for a long time. And, when I first started in this business, the first weekend that I get involved, I went to a real meeting, went to one of these conferences, and I bought packages from every single speaker that weekend, and except for two. I didn't buy the lease option acquisition one, which is funny because we just talked about that. And there's another person I didn't buy, and I forget what the topic was. It had something to do with land or something I wasn't interested in. But I spent $10,000 in my first weekend buying $500 to $1,000 packages just in my first weekend in the business. And I took 2 weeks vacation from my W-2 job, and all I did was study those books. And Phil kind of met me early on there, and he said to me before that I was just like green behind the ears, or whatever you say, wet behind the ears, green in this business, and I just kind of ramped up really quickly by consuming as much knowledge as I could, as fast as I could.
Yeah, that sounds familiar to me.
Yeah.
And plus, I also did their 2, 3, or 4 day boot camps and stuff like that all over the country.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about holding one of those. We're actually talking about doing like a 3-day. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Phil and I and our marketing guy we're literally just talking about that today.
It could be a very good idea. We have a very high density of people around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff planned, and there's going to be a big meeting we're thinking about putting on in July. Nobody does big meetings in the summertime because the attendance isn't good, but we're going to probably do one in July. I know in September and then in October we're going to have some big things coming up. And, everybody tones down their meetings in the summertime, and it's a habit that all real estate education companies typically do because they just get poor attendance in the summertime.
Yeah, but people go on vacations, especially around here. People they on the weekends they want to go to the beach, they want to go to the shore. Maybe we should have it down in Sarasota or something. Maybe have a retreat down there.
Maybe we should have it down the shore. I'm thinking of going down on Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
So let me tell you a little bit about this business and why I love it. While Bruce and Jeremy were talking, I had a call on the other line I had to switch over to. I'll just tell you, Jeremy, it was the realtor for the York Street property, and our deal is back on. So
good. Nice.
This is a deal that we basically bought it, and we fixed it up, and we rented it out for a year. And we owe $197,000 on it, and we just got an agreement of sale for $259,000. So
long-term capital gains. Long-term capital gains. We held it for a year.
Yep. We did not fix it up and then flip it. We fixed it up. We kept it. We put a tenant in there for a year. We had a great tenant. We were thinking of selling it to them. They decided that city life wasn't for them, so they left. And we then went and put it up for sale. And we're going to make a handsome profit. By the time we pay the realtor 3%, we're going to owe him about $8,000. So that gives us about $54,000 in profit. Not bad for a deal
hanging in there for a year.
Yeah, we hung it for 1 year. When we bought it, it needed a lot of work, but we didn't do the work. We paid a contractor to go do it. He did a beautiful job. And when it was finished, we rented it out. So this is a great thing.
You gave me a little segue there, Phil, I think, of something that I wanted to mention. The fact that we have a real estate brokerage, if you guys want to list properties that you have for sale with our brokerage, if you're on our insiders list, you can, we can certainly work you a good deal. You'd have an addicted to real estate sign on the front lawn. You'd have an agent who's addicted to real estate. So we're really ramping up our brokerage side, and we'd love to get some listings. If you guys have listings and want us to work you a deal, we have some pretty unique things we're doing on that end. Flat listings, or if you wanted to do just a month-to-month agreement where you don't have to be locked in for 6 months or a year, we've been known to do that. So some good stuff going on.
Am I still on?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have somebody behind you, though, so you got.
Well, I'm going to do some of that with you later in the summer when I have some more properties. But I just wanted to offer that if you need any help with any of those seminars or programs or anything, my extensive background and my video production and all that crap.
You know what? I didn't know until I saw you at another meeting that you had all that sound gear. That's pretty cool.
I sold off most of my video production stuff, but I could always get stuff. In addition to that,
you want to come by tomorrow and help us set up our green screen studio?
I already got it up. What are you talking about?
Oh, we took it down and we moved it to our 309 office. Tomorrow we.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I just sold off 3 portable systems for green screen.
Oh,
actually, mine were blue screen.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, I just sold them all. Blue's better. Blue's works better.
Come on by tomorrow. You can give us some pointers.
But out at 309?
Yeah.
He's kidding.
Right.
We don't need any pointers to put the green.
Don't know that.
All right.
Pretty stuff. Bruce, if you want to come up with something that you're a talented guy, here's a great challenge for you and anybody else on this line. We've got some amazing real estate deals in queue that we've gotten under contract. Now we have a period of time before we settle on these properties. We need to raise money. I spend a lot of my time raising money, and it's a very rewarding thing, but even I can't raise all the money that we need to buy properties. We need help with it. So if you know somebody or have some ability to make a connection with a private lender and attach that private lender to one of our real estate deals, we'll give you a piece of the deal. So there's lots of ways that you can get involved in some of these real estate deals. That's a great, great way to get involved in the business. And it's an easy way.
I know a guy I'm meeting tomorrow night's got plenty of money. I'll feel him out and see if I like him.
Well, we had somebody in the queue. Somebody hit *6.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you very much.
They just dropped off. So.
Oh.
Go ahead and hit *6. Anybody, if you have a question for us or something that we covered you want to get clarification on.
You're stuck with me. What a shame.
No, that's fine.
Hey, Jeremy, did you ever send that paperwork package to the agent for York?
You know what? I'm headed back shortly, and I'll do that, and I'll send it over.
Okay.
because he just sent me an email that said the buyers are fine, they flushed the toilets and looked all over the basement. They need a seller's disclosure, and we have a deal. So
okay, good deal.
I don't mind working on that tonight either if you want. So after this call.
So you guys are witnessing a deal going down right now on the phone.
Yeah. Hey, look,
so, that's one of the things. We're in the business. This is what we do for a living. We actually, there's plenty of books and tapes guys that's all they do. All we do is real estate. So.
This business isn't all peaches and cream. Sometimes it's tough. Sometimes you go 6 months where you don't make a lot of money, and that can be tough. And then you make $54,000 while you're on a conference call. So, this business is like any other business, but you have to learn it. You have to dedicate yourself to it. You have to get addicted to it. But if you do, if you say to yourself, this is the business for me, I'm going to commit to this business, I'm going to learn it, I'm going to associate with people who know this business, you're going to do fine. You're going to do great. And becoming a multimillionaire in this business is something that's just about guaranteed as long as you hang in it for a while.
Takes a little time.
Yeah, and especially now. I started in the business at the top of the market. At the top. I started in the business in 1989. And in the fall of 1990, the market began to crash. And it continued to decline for about 5 years until 1995, when it then very, very slowly flatlined or went up, very slowly. And then in the year 2000 to 2005, the market went crazy. And I had, all along since 1989, all I did was very simple stuff. I bought real estate, and I kept it, and I managed it, and I built up the biggest portfolio I could. And I made many, many millions of dollars in equity between the years of 2000 and 2005 when the market went crazy. Then I started selling those properties, and I did 1031 exchanges, and I bought myself a $2.2 million office building, which I still have today. And that building, that office building, is called Executech Suites. You can check it out at executechsuites.com. That's spelled EXECUTEC. So you can see I'm for real. And I still own the building that I bought in 2006 with the money I made. Yeah, we're actually at the building today. And that building feeds my family today. I mean, my wife runs that building, and she brings me home a check every month. Sometimes the check is $5,000. Sometimes the check is bigger. It's nice life. This is a good life.
Well, we got 3 people here that are on the queue. Somebody I think who's got a 704 number. They come in.
I got a question. This is Justin again.
Hey, Justin.
Now, if I was to get a private lender to get a piece in your deal, what money are we talking about here?
Well, a lot of times we include people in the deal because it's their private investor. So we'll give you a piece of the deal. So it's all negotiable based on the numbers of the deal.
Okay.
Like if somebody comes to us a lot of times and they'll say, look, hey, do you guys have a private lender for me? And our candid response is like, look, our private lenders have a relationship with us. If our private lender is going to put up the money, we want to be in that deal. And, you should be the same. You should too. I mean, I don't wholesale out my private lenders, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, and if somebody says, look, I got somebody with money, they really like what you guys are doing, I want to get involved, what better way than, and we have even private lenders that become private lenders because they want to look over our shoulder and see us go soup to nuts through a whole deal. And that's a good learning experience for them. We've had several people do that with us.
Well, do you have like a spreadsheet that you could email me or anything like that of all these deals that you have down in Florida? So just to look at the numbers.
Yeah, shoot Phil an email. We have, I don't know if it's a spreadsheet, but we have information on it for sure.
Okay.
I have a nice write-up for you with photographs, with the explanation of what the deal is, why it's a good deal, how we're going to make money off of it, why it's a great niche market. So just shoot me an email with your contact information asking for the deals in Florida, and I'll shoot you right back the package you can send out and talk to people about it. If you have any questions, just call me.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Cool. go on.
Let's help each other. We're all helping each other. You know, one of the things people ask me sometimes is they go, well, if you guys are such big shots in the real estate business, why do you need to raise private money? I said, well, it's simple. First of all my money is already in real estate. That's where I put my money, all of it. If I hit the lottery tomorrow for $1 million, $50, I'd be out of money in about a week because I got almost $1 million worth of deals sitting on the table right now. I just put my money right into those deals. So,
who's on the line? Who is it?
So what we do is we're buying so much real estate that we can't possibly fund all of our own deals. At this point, we're moving at a pace of somewhere around $4 million worth of acquisitions a year, about $1 million a quarter. And we'd like to move faster than that if we can. It takes a lot of work to find these real estate deals. It takes a lot of work to fund them. So that's where our heads are at right now. We need help. And you guys want to learn this business. And, you know, raising private money is a great, great way to get involved in real estate.
We got a question on the line. Is it mail-in?
Yeah, hi. I was wondering if your house on Titan Street was still available.
Yeah, it is still available. We listed it for sale for $90,000. The tenant just moved out. Same deal as the other one. We bought that house about a year and a half ago or a year ago. Tenant lived in it for a year. Then we put it up for sale right now because we're trying to sell off some of our Philly properties and exchange those properties for some of the Florida properties. So think of it like we're trading Ventnor Avenue property in Monopoly for the Museum of Art. You know, we're just upgrading the properties to better areas. We're a little sour on Philadelphia, but you know,
Point Breeze. That's the Point Breeze section that Titan property. If anybody's interested in it, South Philly on Titan Street. That one's you know, Point Breeze is hopping. A lot of rehabbers are in there, and you know, that's the nice thing about real estate. If you invest in areas where the rehabbers are going crazy, you just like, you know, after you collect about six to 8 rent checks in a year. I think we got at least 8 rent checks in that year. You know, we got the tenant out of there, but you just blink your eyes, and all of a sudden the value is much higher than it was when we bought it because of all the rehabbers pushing up the values with all their improvements. So,
what do you getting there? The property fixed up can probably get $795 a 2-bedroom.
It might be a little more than that too, but we inherited the tenant that came with the house. We bought it from a landlord. They sold us the property with a tenant already in there. They already had a lease and all that.
Okay. All right, thanks. We'll look into it.
What were you thinking of doing with it?
Actually, I just met a private lender today, and these guys, they want to invest in Philly, and Point Breeze is one of the areas that they were looking into. So I thought of that property because I'm on your email list. So
cool.
I knew I'd be on the call tonight. So I want to do a little more research because I know, you know, Point Breeze and that 19146 zip, it's kind of vast. So I know there's some parts that are getting really built up, and there's other parts that are still, you know, a little behind the times. So.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a great property for flipping. Like, we could do it ourselves right now. We were just talking about that. I mean, it depends on how much money you want to spend on it. It's not a huge house, so probably $20,000 would make that house very nice. And if you bought it for $90 through $20 into it at $110, there are comps all the way up to, I think the highest comp I saw was $168, and that's for a 2-bedroom right in that neighborhood. There's new construction all over the place, and this is definitely a street that's getting fixed up. There's brand new houses right on the street. That whole area right there, very close to this house, is just hopping. It's undeniable. All you got to do is get in your car, drive around, and it's like, there's scaffolding there, there's some more scaffolding there. People are building roof decks, fixing them up with beautiful views of the city. So it's definitely a flippable property if you got a private investor that wants to put up some money and you want to just flip it. You probably can make
money's not a problem with them. You know, they're a bunch of doctors, so like to do a flip, the money's not an issue. In fact, I work in South Philly, so I'm probably going to take a ride there this week. Take a look for myself and
I have a place on 18th and Wharton that is a three bedroom that we renovated. It's real nice, granite countertops, all new hardwood floors, all that stuff. I got 3 university arts students in there, each paying me $500 a month. So I'm sorry, 2 of them are paying $550 and the other one's paying $500. So I got $1,600 for a 3 bedroom in 18th and Wharton. That's only it's only less than what's that, 4 or 5 blocks away from that?
Yeah.
It's real close. Yeah.
I got your cell phone. You have a lockbox on the Titan Street house yet?
Yeah, I do.
Let me text you. I'll text you tomorrow, Jeremy. I'll try to hit it maybe Wednesday or tomorrow or Thursday.
Just call the office too to make sure that the phone number you have accepts text messages. So I would say call.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, get over there this week if you can, because it's getting a lot of activity. It's getting a lot of showings, and I'd be surprised if it doesn't sell pretty soon. So get over there and look at it. And we'd love to sell it to somebody who's on our calls and who's in our little family of real estate investors. That's the kind of business we love to do.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot.
No problem. I have, let me see. Does anybody hit *6 now if they want to ask a question? Let me just switch over to the queue here. All right, the queue is empty. If anybody wants to hit *6, I think we're probably just about to wrap up the call. So I'd like to see if we get one last question before we do. Well, I think I guess if that's it, if nobody has any more questions, we have a couple things coming up. We have a meeting, as Phil said, in June. Stay tuned to Meetup. If all of you aren't in our Meetup group, go over to meetup.com and just look for Addicted to Real Estate, and you'll find out when these phone calls come up and when also when the monthly meetings or the meetings that we have at different locations come up, and if they're close to you and you want to pop in, we'd love to have you. Meetings are typically $20, and that includes a buffet lunch or a buffet dinner, and we also give quite a bit of education there and have a great networking opportunity. So you want to talk a little bit about the MLS and what we're doing there, Phil, for anybody that's interested?
Sure. I mean, for real estate investors, you got to be able to access the MLS, and traditionally only realtors have that capability, but because we own our own real estate agency, Addicted to Real Estate Agency, and we're investors, and our people are investors. We love investors, so we want to attract investors to our agency by providing them something that no office will give you. I actually had a guy recently call me from Chicago to get MLS Access, and I said, "Well, I could sell it to you, but it's only going to be for Philadelphia, so I can't help you." He says, "Well, who does it in Chicago?" I said, "Dude, nobody does it. Nobody does it in the country." But it's full MLS access, just like any realtor has. You have your own code, your own password, no contracts, $59.87 a month. That's just under $60, and you can try it out for a while, and you can cancel. If you don't think it's of value to you. We just ask that if you sign up for it, please don't sign up and then cancel next week. I mean, it takes us a lot of work to set you up, but it's an amazing thing to use, and you want to talk about learning in this business. It's not a lot of money to have this software program, and if you browse it, what I did with it when I was young was I just browsed the area I wanted to buy over and over and over again every single day, and then I'd look at every single property I could. I'd go to open houses. I'd do everything I could to look at these properties until I ultimately became an expert in the area I wanted to buy. And when you're an expert in the area you want to buy, guess what happens? You make a lot of money because now you know what you're doing. You learn. Just like I said tonight to the gentleman who was looking for a tip to how to get started in this business. The most important thing you need to do is learn. And if you can learn the values of the different kinds of properties in your market, well, that's an incredibly valuable skill to have.
Well, guys, I got to shovel off. I got a hockey game tonight, so I got a 9:40 ice slot that I have to get ready for. So
I got a rock too. So I got a rock too.
Thank you all for joining us on this call. If you found it valuable, and we'd love to have you share it with your friends and refer them over to us for our meetings. If they go to our meetup, they can find out when that is, or they can simply put their name and email address in Addicted to Real Estate, and they'll get notifications. Phil's really good about putting out notifications of when we're doing events and things like that. So we thank you all for your feedback. This is Jeremy from Addicted to Real Estate signing out.
This is Phil Falcone from Addicted to Real Estate signing out. Talk to you guys next time.